Look at the phthalos. We're going to be also looking at the opaque, some of the opaque colors as well. So for the opaque colors, I have Indian red, lamp black, Venetian red, graphite gray, English red earth, chromium green oxide, bismuth vandate yellow. That's it. And then for the phthalos, I have phthalo blue red shade, phthalo blue turquoise, phthalo green blue shade, phthalo green yellow shade, phthalo turquoise, phthalo yellow green, and phthalo blue green shade. So those are the ones we'll be playing with today. If you'd like to show your work, please just let me know and we'll spotlight you as well. Go back to change view. So, okay. Which one's on? This one here. Okay. So I think we'll look at opaque colors first. First one's going to be Indian red. You kind of see I put a blue line and it pretty much covers the blue line. Giovanni's also doing his, he has a much more precise, which we'll be flipping back to his as well. So that was, so Sue says an odd question, why are there no cad blues or greens? So we don't use cads. But essentially, colors are made for industry, and it's really kind of what industry is willing to pay for. So if they were willing to pay for a blue, there'd be a blue. Just if industry has no use for it and doesn't want to put up the money to come up with it, then it just doesn't happen because pigment manufacturing is a very costly endeavor. So this is Venetian red. And same thing, it's this is lamp black. So lamp black is our darkest.
John,
Oh, yes.
John, do you mind pulling up just a little lower? Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Okay, so this is lamp black. Lamp black is our darkest color. So when we look at a color to say whether it's a darkest color, light color, etc., we put it through the photospectrophotometer, and it's how much light comes bouncing back. And so lunar black, which is Mars black, is a very, 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 very dark black. However, because it moves away from itself, it leaves a lot of white area. So there's a lot of white coming back, so it gets higher on the scale. Whereas the lamp black, it does not move away. It's covering the majority of all of the white, so it's a much darker color. In Danthron blue would be very similar. It covers the majority of all of the white, so it's considered to be a very dark color. But lamp black is certainly the darkest of all. This color is kind of interesting. This is Bismuth Band-Aid yellow. It's kind of a really pretty color. So it's one of the reasons that we have so many colors. For example, so many yellows, the Hansa light, Hansa medium, Hansa dark, quinothalone yellow, et cetera, et cetera. And that is because they have different qualities. Some are transparent, some are semi-transparent, some are granulating. And it allows you as the artist to pick one or pick the one. Got my black in that, sorry about that. Pick the one that mostly is going to match what it is you want to choose. Does a dark color indicate opacity? No, not necessarily. In fact, of all the colors we have, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are completely opaque, and we have 266 colors. So no. As I was saying, the lunar black is a very, very, very dark black. It just has a lot of the paper doesn't get covered. And so it is not as anywhere as dark as a lamp black, which covers all that you put on top of it. So a good way to look at that is look at the C-Lab, and you have the CIELAB, CIELAB, and right here, L is for light, and you can look from a 0 to 99 or 1 to 100, where the color falls on this range. And so lamp black would be, right down here, probably a 1 or 2. Hansa yellow, Hansa yellow medium, probably would be up here, like a 92, 94. So that can show you really quickly by looking at that spreadsheet that's on danielsmith.com, the brightness level of any one of the colors really, really quite quickly. So lots of tools available. You can use them in different ways to just learn a lot about colors before you ever even use them, which is kind of fun. That is such a pretty yellow. It is just it is a really, really bright yellow. What is the first red? The first red is Indian red. Kristen, Indian red. Mickey, is lamp black considered an opaque color? Lamp black absolutely is an opaque color. Lamp black, as kind of the name kind of says, it used to be they would put lamps underneath a tent, and the carbon would go. If you ever watched a burning lamp, you could see the carbon coming out of it. It would go to the bottom of the tent, and then they would get a broom and they would beat the top of the tent and knock all the carbon down, and that's how they got lamp black. So yes, very, very, it's a carbon black, very, very, very dark. Okay, good questions. So the next one, this one's kind of interesting. This is graphite gray. And people ask about the graphite gray, and graphite gray is a synthetic. And we can switch to, I'll show you what it looks like here. It's very opaque. And we can see what Rajat, how Rajat used it in one of his paintings. That's quite beautiful. So let me put some water to this, and maybe we can ask Rajat to show you his paint.
Yes, John, because this graphite gray I have used in a different manner, although it is opaque, but I made it little like, if you see this, this is the lower part of my painting is graphite gray. So it has a different texture and it's so contrast. The thing which you did is so opaque, and here, excuse me, here it is something else. But well, as you said, different people use it in a different way, and that's how I created this. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So you added a lot of water to that?
Yeah, I poured a lot of water over here. So that's how I made it transparent. And if you see that certain amount of texture has been created all over there.
Very nice. Very, yeah. That's
Thank
very nice, Rajat.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Okay, so this was graphite gray. Boy, that graphite gray is just, it is dark. It is really dark. You can let it out. You see. So with that, just for a moment, I'd like to, can we flip to you, Giovanni?
Okay, John. Okay, perfect. I create, sorry for my lamp power off. Okay, perfect. I created these two lines. The first line is a mastone, is completely opaque, and the second line I applied 50% of water, but for checking the opacity, the change in the opacity. For example, when I use one of my preferred is a lamp black for my black background, I arrive at this opacity, but starting for 15% of water. Apply many layers, I obtain a different opacity, beautiful opacity, but I obtain the very different opacity. And another color in this case, Venetian red, is similar to when I use Italian Venetian red, but is different opacity. Is perfect for create the warm for my black background. Very beautiful. And I love finally the graphite gray for use the design or when I drawing with my little brush. For example, I explain now the difference of Venetian red, Italian Venetian red. The opacity is completely different. I love this. It's perfect for warm before the lamp black. And then now, after when this line dry, I apply another layer for obtain the various intensity of opacity. Thank you, John.
You're very welcome. Does anybody have any questions for Giovanni? So Giovanni, you said that was 15%?
Yeah.
Diluted by 15, okay.
Yeah, the second line is 50% of water.
1.5.
Yeah. The opacity is not changing, but is perfect.
God, it's such an opaque color, isn't it?
I love how it looks so pastel-y when you do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you wanted to make any color more pastel, almost any color more pastel, it's just the amount of water that you add to it. So we've done tests, and Giovanni's posted some stuff, which is just excellent, about putting, 5 dots, 1 dot to 5 dots, 1 part paint to 5 parts water to 10 parts water to 20 parts water. And you can change to get the kind of the pastel look that you want. You're just freeing up more of the pigment particles to move around. So it does look more pastel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next is going to show the Phthalos, and kind of wanted to show the opaque colors because they're quite beautiful, and I think there's some that will stay away from them because they're not quite sure how to use an opaque color. So if you looked at Rajat's artwork, he used graphite gray, which is certainly opaque, and then he let it down by using more. He played with how much water he was using to get where he wanted to go.
Right.
And you were on probably 2 months ago, I think 2 months ago. Linda Dahl did a presentation at the Phthalos and said how much she loves them, even though they're the most staining, and some people will stay away from them because they're concerned, will I ruin my artwork if I use a staining color and then all of a sudden want to change a piece of it? And if you watched hers, Linda Dahl is a brand ambassador from San Diego. She says she doesn't care about that. She'll just beat them up. She'll take something and she will just scrape them away, or she'll make them behave. But the Phthalos are kind of like asking the wild man to come to the party. You're going to know they're there because they're just screaming gorgeous colors, and they are intense. So
I have a question about using ground over a color like that you want to get rid of.
it'll definitely get rid of it.
Okay, so you don't
Yeah.
have to scrape your paper.
You do not. No, you can use the ground. That's a good idea. It just becomes, you might have to put, I personally always err on doing a very light coating. And if that doesn't work, then do another light coating until you get rid of versus doing heavy. I
Yeah.
think it's just better to start light and then do light and then do light to get rid of it. But absolutely, that will work. Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
In fact, next week or the week after, we could try that. I'm glad to, if you've got questions about the grounds, etc., we can try just about anything you can think of. We can put it together and try. So this is the phthalo blue, and this is the red shade. So this one is going to be the green shade. So phthalos are kind of interesting. I think, as I've said before, they're really used in industry, really used. So that makes them, one, very readily available, and two, it does bring down the cost, because the more they make, the cost is less. So I can see the difference here in front of me. I don't know if you can see the difference online. I don't think you can. But here in front of me, I can see it. Let's see if I can do it this way. These cameras are really good, but there's a limit to them. Definitely here in front of me, I can see it. So this is the red shade and this is the green shade. And this does look much warmer than this one right here. much. I mean, enough that I can see it. Over the top, not so much, but you can see that there's a difference. So I think it's a question of opacity versus transparency. If you want to do a more glazing, more glazing, for example, you'd want the more transparent colors because you can do more of the glazing with those. Because as watercolor, everything is from light to dark. Once you get to that opaque, you're done your story. That's it. So I think many times people are going to start with the opaque. I mean, Rajat certainly did, and there's artists that do. But usually you'll look at the watercolor chart and kind of figure how is that going to help you in doing your artwork. Glazing, definitely transparent. You can do probably 3, maybe more, but certainly 3. Transparent, certainly 2. Opaque, it's your first one, you're done. Unless you're really watering it down. Watering it down allows the particles to move away. Watering it down too much is actually reversing the process that we're doing in creating the watercolor. When you put too much watercolor, you're actually taking that process and you're reversing it. You're actually taking it apart. But the more you get the watercolor, the pigment to move, the more white you will see from underneath. So that's kind of also the way to look at it. Certainly you can make an opaque color less opaque. The question becomes, and you should be able to do anything you want as an artist. It's really your journey. Do anything you want to do. There's no wrong. But you'd have to ask yourself, why do I want to take an opaque if there's another color I can use to get where I want to be? Because you're gonna have to really let down an opaque to get it to be semi-transparent, usually. But again, I think Caroline would say this, many artists would say this, it should be fun. It should be a process that you enjoy it. You know, the worst case scenario is it's a piece of paper that you throw away. But during that process, you'll learn you had fun. And that's really kind of, I think for most of us, that's what it's about. This is phthalo green, yellow shade. Do any of you not use the phthalos because they are so staining, or you just haven't used the?
I actually avoid phthalos unless I know I want the stain, because I'm aware of their fantastic dynamic pigment. But if you want to be able to lift it up and move the colour a bit more, I do tend to avoid the staining. However, when I want it, it's fantastic. And I actually have a phthalo turquoise on my dot card because that was one of the colours I really desired to be a staining colour in my artwork.
Thanks for sharing, Caroline. Just give John some time to reconnect.
Okay.
And I think
I use phthalo blue instead of aquamarine if I want to make a purple with, say, queen rose and I don't want it to separate out. I'm using a lot of water, and the phthalo holds it together, whereas the queen rose and the phthalo blue, you know, they really separate out if you do that.
that was Sarah, right? Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah, that's right. Hello.
I absolutely love the phthalos, and I use them as my core blues. And I I love them, I think, because I do a lot of watercolor pouring. So I like that it stains and it holds itself, it holds its ground. And I love also how you can get all these beautiful pastel colors when you water them down. Like John said, when you break them down, you get the beautiful pastels, and then you can use them richer. But a trick that I have for using the phthalos is to mix them with Hanzas and Quins. So the Hansa yellows and all the quinacridones get along with all the phthalos, and you get some amazing, beautiful mixes. And here you can see how they look all watered down. You get these beautiful soft pastels that will also hold their place on your painting. And then recently the new Jane's blue orange and the Jane's black red green, these are both made out of phthalos as well, phthalos and pyrroles. So I was excited to add blacks. I guess I've just always been a fan of the really staining, transparent, beautiful colors. And the more you practice who they get along with, you kind of can unlock a lot of fun things to do with them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say they're certainly staining. It's little stained plastic. So,
And your clothes and your face and your fingers.
so there's two of the opaque I didn't show. One is English red earth, which we'll show here, and the other, which is chromium green oxide. Those two. Really big. It's pretty. That is opaque. So Angela, are you doing anything with the phthalos?
Sorry, my audio was not on. Yes, I used some of the phthalos. I was trying to give some shape of flowers here. I used most of the phthalos. Here, I used these is the phthalo turquoise. Here, I love this color, and it mixes so well to make greens with the yellow bismuth vanadic yellow. I love this also, this yellow. And here there is again some phthalo turquoise. And here there are these earthy colors, like Venetian red is here, and this is the lunar red rock. I don't know, is it also a staining color, or is it opaque? But it seemed opaque to me. And the English red, there's a mixture between the English red. And here I've used this color is beautiful, is the phthalo blue red shade, I think. Yeah. No, green shade, sorry. Phthalo blue green shade. And here's the green the phthalo green blue shade. And here is the mixture in the middle. This one is the color of our Mediterranean Sea very often. So I like this mixture. I like it very much. And here there is also the blue, the phthalo turquoise, I think. So I have a few greens, and this is the beautiful phthalo yellow green. So this is my mix of colors. Thank you.
Very
That's
nice.
beautiful. That's so pretty, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. I see an ocean, I see a forest, I see so many things. It's beautiful.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a very good texture created.
I see
Beautiful.
corals there.
So it could be undersea, right?
Yeah.
That's great. I hope to see these lovely waters in Australia.
Create some fishes over there so that it will be.
As well.
It looks like underwater. It gives you that underwater.
Hmm. Fantastic. Sometimes if you want to do it, it won't come.
Precisely, that's what happened.
This is the phthalo green blue shade. That's so if you make a mistake using one of the phthalos, since it's so staining, how do you recover?
I do lifting. If
Do
you
you?
use, yeah, if you use a toothbrush and gentle pressure, you can lift pretty well on a swatch of color. This is-
I think when you first lay it down, you can lift it quite quickly.
Yeah,
But once it's dry, then you start having to sort of, you'll bring back the paper, but you'll never get absolutely pure white again.
Do you find that it depends also on the paper? Like rough paper, it will get into it more than if you use hot pressed?
I think hot press actually gets a smooth gets stained faster than a rough.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, paper makes certain difference. That's undoubtedly.
I'm likely to use a different phthalo. Like phthalo yellow green on top of phthalo blue red shade.
Camouflage.
Yes,
Kathleen.
yes.
Hi.
Hi, Buffy.
Is wisteria considered an opaque? And why don't more artists use it? I think that's a wonderful color.
So we don't, when we classify it, we don't classify it as an opaque.
Okay.
I think you'll find that items that are got a white mix with them appear to be slightly opaque, but it's different from opaque paints.
Thank you.
That's a very good point. Yes, you can always put titanium white or Chinese white to make something more opaque.
I've gotten some beautiful rays of sun coming through forest using phthalos by brushing it out with like a thick, like a 1-inch flat brush. And because it doesn't pull the whole color out, but it pulls just enough that you get what looks like rays of sun coming through the forest. It's very beautiful.
Very cool. Do you have a sample, Lori?
Gosh, where is that painting? Hold on a second.
Okay.
Off my wall. So
That'd be
hold on.
really interesting. While Laura's doing that, this is the phthalo green blue shade. This is the phthalo blue turquoise. That's a really blue. This is the phthalo yellow green that Angela was just showing. And this is really quite beautiful. This is phthalo turquoise. You really can't see it on the screen. It's just really beautiful. I'm gonna start using a 35mm and see if that will actually transfer the color more appropriate to the screen, or if it's my screen that's the issue. Let's see about, yeah,
Nice, John. We can
I'm
see
sorry,
that is better now.
is it?
Yeah.
It's so different here in front of me. It's just really quite beautiful.
From here, it looks like Seahawk colors.
Ah,
It's the colours of our local football team in Canberra called the Raiders.
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know much about, I've been to all the major Hall of Fames in the US, but I don't know much about sports. But I must say, when I was in Australia and New Zealand, I really enjoyed the sports they were playing. It was just really constant movement.
So
And
There
they
is-
don't wear shoulder pads and things like the American gridiron do.
Yeah, it was the rugby, and my gosh, what they were doing without all the protection. It's like, oh my gosh.
So I found the painting. Now this, you have to understand, this is one of my earliest paintings, and I would have done, I did some of these lines with, I did some of, this stuff. I would have done this differently. I would have scraped it out. I masked it. I would have done that differently. But this in the middle here
That's
is
cool.
like
Yeah.
here is where I scraped it out. So I got these rays of sun coming
Like
through
the
there.
sun's coming through. That's really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a stunning
And
job.
that was
Yeah.
done with phthalo.
That's
Yeah,
very
so
nice.
yeah, so that was kind of a fun thing.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
Laurie.
It's beautiful painting.
Thank
And
you.
you do it
Beautiful.
just by scraping.
Just by scraping, just with a 1-inch brush and just water, and I did it. I had to do it multiple times to get enough color to come out. But yeah,
That's very
So-
cool. Well, thank you for sharing.
you're welcome.
Very nice. Let's see, I'm gonna flip back to, that's all of the phthalos, not that many phthalos, and all of the true opaque. You can always push more toward mass tone, but the beautiful thing about watercolors is how you use water. I mean, it's, you know, it's kind of that cutting edge of how much water to use to get the beauty that you want. So I think I called on Mark. Are you painting?
Yeah, I just grabbed a whole bunch of the colors and I can show. I'm going through an abstract expressionist phase, so excuse the look of it, but it's mixing a lot of the phthalos, and I use Peroline Scarlet because I don't have the Venetian red.
Reminds me of Munch.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that.
Oh,
Nice.
I see a meerkat.
I do too.
Awesome.
Wow. Very nice.
Thanks.
And Buffy's doing hers, and Angela. And Bob doesn't have anything, but he's intently watching. Thank you, Bob. Okay. How about you, Ashley? Can I call on you?
Yes, you can. I was just taking off on what Buffy was talking about mixing the quins with the phthalos. So I was just doing a little pastel-y swatching. This little pastel, sorry, that is awful to see, but got some. So these are the phthalos on the side, watered down.
Yeah.
And then I was adding some quin. I think I've got quin pink, quin magenta, and quin gold. So that's what I'm doing.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you. I like
Yeah,
the
thanks.
raccoon. Is that a raccoon? Yeah.
Oh,
Behind-
yep. Yep, that's a raccoon for the local zoo in my area. They have a raccoon and I asked if I could paint it. So
Oh, very awesome.
thanks.
Besnick, are you painting along? I know you have a no camera stand. Are you using the?
John,
Yes.
I didn't bring all of my phthalos because I'm still in Paris.
Ah, well, if you got to be a place, that's a nice place to be.
Yeah, we are enjoying it. But I have one of the latest paintings that I did, and I have used phthalo blue green shade. So I can
Okay.
show just a part of that, how I mix it with ultramarine blue.
That'd be beautiful. Sure. Oh, wow. We're not hearing you, Besnick.
Are you hearing me now?
Now we hear you.
So this is phthalo blue green shade. And here I have used ultramarine blue.
Wow.
So here you can see maybe a more difference.
Very cool.
And for tonight, I wanted to show the sticks, but since we are talking about Phthalos, maybe not to go further with the sticks that I have chosen as for the set.
What are the fishermen painted in?
I have used here moon glow, but I put too much of the pigment.
Moonglow.
Yeah.
Very neat.
And this is queen gold, a little bit mixed with ultramarine blue on top. And this granulation I always love when I use ultramarine blue.
Esnik, but sometimes you do skies in different layers, like using phthalo, no? Phthalo blue.
Yes, I use phthalo sometimes. And lately I'm gonna show if I can here. I have used the new blue, Yinmin blue that we got in Bologna. And all this part I have used sticks, mixing the 5 colors that I chose for the set and just from the sticks. So in here I have used buff titanium, moon glow. Here it's mixings with between colors.
Very nice. Yeah, very
And
nice.
this is all moon glow. I always love moon glow, so it's very beautiful. Here I have used phthalo blue green shade as well, here as a background. And the brush strokes are with ultramarine blue.
That's cool.
This part. This
Yeah,
is moon glow.
Very nice.
And here are the mixes. If I can show mixes I have done.
Yeah.
John, sorry, I'm going from some other families of colors into the sticks, or maybe I can talk some other time.
We're going to do your set again because I want to show people that.
Yeah, okay.
I think they've asked. There's more questions.
Yeah, okay. So that's it for Phthalos.
Well, thank you. Those were beautiful. Thank you, Besnick.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. And Giovanni, have to go back to you one more time to see kind of how you're progressing.
Yeah. Okay. I arrive at the last. Okay, I applied when I dry the second line, 50% water. The main square, apply 2 layers and change the different opacity in each color. I come back to my favorite black. I starting from this and apply another layer for arrive on this mass tone. I prefer this this method. And in the blue, in the phthalo blue, the very beautiful combination of this light is 1 layer 50% and 1 and 2 layer, another layer with the same color diluted of 50% water, and arrive on this This is a mudstone. It's beautiful. Chromium green oxide is very, very beautiful. And when apply the second layer is change minimum, but the difference is very, very interesting. And the last is phthalo blue turquoise. Is very, very beautiful phthalo.
Yeah. Very nice. Thank you, Besnik. Very nice.
You're welcome.
Okay. And I thought maybe to see Carolyn was doing one of my favorites, which was sunflowers, see if her sunflower has progressed.
Sunflowers have progressed. I've been painting the whole time different things with these colours.
Oh, yes.
I've got to get it in the right spot for you. Opposite. Get my brain to do the opposite. I'm getting it further off rather than on, aren't I?
Yeah.
Maybe.
My brain just needs to turn around and look at it a different way. That way.
There you go.
Oh,
Now-
we're closer. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a group of colours that chosen today isn't necessarily a group that everybody would paint within one painting, but putting them all out, I thought, well, what I'm going to do with this group of colours to try and put something together, and immediately I found sunflowers being a subject because of those fantastic bright yellows. And I always remember beautiful Vincent van Gogh's sunflower paintings and all the browns and natural earth colours and things he put in his sunflower pictures. So immediately they reminded me of that. There was just a quick fun throw it together idea. There's nothing planned about this play today. It was just having a look at the colours and how they work on a page together. And then beyond that, I started doing a picture that's based on, paint peeling off a board. If I get that in the right spot, you might see it. I still can't get my brain around the right way to do this.
Yep, that's working.
I'm nearly there.
Yep,
There you go.
Wow,
Okay.
that's amazing.
Very cool, yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
looking at stamping with the watercolors and spraying using spray bottles and layering over with darker colors. It's just fun. It was just really, really quick, and again, not overly thought, simple shapes. But I'll have to mention that this week my students have been exploring the amazing work of Angus McEwen from Scotland, and so much honour to him and his clever and amazing super real paintings that he does. And also that he does amazing courses online, so you can actually get in contact with him and actually do courses with him online from the other side of the world. So a big thank you to him for all the reference material that he has offered online this week for me.
Fantastic. That's beautiful. Yeah, I like that a lot. Awesome.
Caroline, what colors
Yeah.
did you use for the background of your sunflowers? Can you tell us?
Yes.
Those?
Okay, so you've got, if I've got it in the right place, we've got the phthalo blue red shade in the corner here. And then as you progress across the painting, you can see the phthalo blue green shade that's slightly mixed with the phthalo turquoise. So the different colours together, and further up, you'll see the phthalo turquoise mixed with the, is it Bismuth Van Dyke yellow?
Yes.
Actually turns into a fantastic, brilliant green. So it's almost like a phthalo green in its own way. And I think that's the rich staining of the phthalos that will turn the yellow to that brilliant colour. It's a hard colour to use, I find, that particular phthalo green. It doesn't match Australian landscapes in any way. It's very lolly as far as we're concerned. But it's fantastic when you're doing bright and colourful work like this. So
Yeah, I love you're a person that loves blue, you said. So I love
Oh.
the blues, yeah.
yes.
Well, in general, everything, but I like the blue.
Yeah, I love blue. I think because I paint so much water and ocean and natural scenes, that blue is probably in every single painting I do.
It's such a happy painting.
It's
Yeah,
just a fun doodle while you guys were talking.
very nice. Very nice. Thank you for sharing.
That's okay. You're welcome.
Everybody, I wanted to thank all of you for sharing. I think it makes the session so much more lively and important. So thank you all. And tomorrow, if you're able to join, we have Terry from Mexico City. And hope to see you all next week and wish you a great weekend. And to see you again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
John.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye bye.
Thank you, John.